Hey guys, how y'all doing today? My name is Franchise Fanatic, and welcome back to the channel. And today, if you guys, is another movie review. Today we're tackling the new Jurassic World film, Jurassic World Dominion. This is also the last film in the, I guess, six-part Jurassic era. So, you know how we have the Infinity Saga, the Skywalker Saga, all that, the Oni Trilogy, Dark Knight Trilogy, whatever. This is going to be the Jurassic era. So this is the final one. This will not be a spoiler review, so if you have not seen the film, don't worry. I'm going to at least try my best not to spoil it. You're going to be seeing some Lego Jurassic World gameplay in the background. I'm not sure which movie I'm doing. That game only goes up to movie 4, or Jurassic World 1. So again, make sure to enjoy the video. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. So first and foremost, let's just say that before going into this film, I was a little bit nervous, because I'm looking at the reviews, and, the reviews are like, 30%, not too good, and then I went down to 28%, then I went down to 27%, I was like, man, this must be like a horrible-ass film. Now, I'm just going to say this straight up. The critics, okay, look, the paid critics must be watching a different film. Like, it has to be, because this is probably my favorite one. I think this was a fantastic film. Now, as far as how these films rank to me, I think my least favorite would have to be Jurassic Park 3. I don't hate any of these films. That's just my least favorite. I think that film is kind of cheap, kind of lazy, not the best in terms of directing. Now, Joe Johnston, of course, he directed Captain America: The First Avenger and other films. So he's not a bad director. I just think Jurassic Park 3 is the least well-made out of all of them. And then it'd probably go like The Lost World, and then Jurassic Park 1, and then Jurassic World 1, then Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, and now I believe that Jurassic World Dominion, this latest film, is probably my favorite. It's really funny because, when you watch the first, few movies, probably even Jurassic Park 1 to 3, they're not necessarily action films, they're just kind of, I wouldn't say they're horror, but they're more like thriller, adventure, films. They're not like crazy action fight scenes, it's more or less about tension and suspense and all that, and then Jurassic World had a little bit more action. Or at least it would seem that way with all the craziness going on in that film. Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom was really the first film where it felt like a true action film in instances with chase scenes and Owen having a fight scene, actually fist fighting with other guards in that auction scene. There's a lot of really good moments in that film. And before seeing this film, Fallen Kingdom was my favorite. I freaking love Fallen Kingdom. I will never understand the hate for really any of these films, but especially that one. And this film probably tops it. I mean, this is without a doubt the most engaging, entertaining, and thought-provoking and most fun Jurassic, film. I was kind of nervous. How are you going to mesh and marry, Owen and Claire? Not marriage, but marry the idea of these characters meeting the older characters, meeting, Alan and Ellie and Ian and all them, and how are you going to make that work? And they made it frickin' work. And of course, you see in the trailer, the whole locust thing, without getting into spoilers, that is, a threat. So there's a lot of plots going on. Really, you have kind of two groups, kind of like the Frodo, Sam, Gollum, and then the Aragorn, Legolas, Gimli plot from the Lord of the Rings trilogy, which I know, Return of the King review coming soon, don't worry. But that is definitely, it's a 4-hour movie, all right? Give me a break. But it is definitely a scene where you're like, okay, you have, one group kind of focusing on one thing, with Maisie and Blue and Beta, as you've seen, and all these other different things. Then you have the other group, which is like Alan, Ellie, Ian, kind of breaking up and doing their own thing with the Locust plot. So, and it all makes sense. The way they get these characters to meet up, it's really, really cool. And I do think that the plot is really, without getting into spoilers, this is kind of hard to do that because the trailers don't really make it seem what it is, but Maisie, the whole Fallen Kingdom plot where Maisie's a clone, and, I guess for a lot of people that was, very confusing. What's going on, They kind of do a little bit of a recap in this film. They kind of do a bookend thing. Like I mentioned with Snow White, how they had the live-action book. They kind of do that, but it's like a news anchor talking. And that's just a way to get the audience, up to speed on what the F is going on. Because, there are some people who haven't watched Fallen Kingdom in a while or didn't like it, and they don't really know or remember, what the F even happened in that film. So to see, they kind of recap, Maisie's a clone, and Owen, Claire, Maisie, they're on the run, and people are looking for them, and now dinosaurs are all over the frickin' earth. They're everywhere now, so, Fallen Kingdom, Maisie made the big call to let all the dinosaurs out because she is like them. They're both, not necessarily real creatures, but they emote like real creatures, so it was kind of cool to see that whole aspect of these dinosaurs kind of roaming free, and how does that look, and how does that actually, impact the world? And we kind of see there's a lot of really good shots in there, before we get into my next thing, but there's a lot of great shots of just, dinosaurs interacting with animals and humans, sometimes, violently, but also, sometimes just more peacefully. In fact, the last shot of this film, which I won't spoil, is a very awesome shot, kind of reminds me of The Lion King, but it is very much a very well, I was going to say very well shot, but it is very well shot. I think that, leading from that thing I was talking about with all the animals and dinosaurs kind of coexisting, the movie starts out with that, and then it kind of veers off to more of a actual plot. But this film looks effing awesome, dude. This is by far the best shot and best looking Jurassic film. I think Jurassic Park 3 is the least. For instance, there's just parts in that film where Alan would punch that weird looking dude with the foot, looks like a monkey, and you hear like the sound effect, like a punching sound effect, but you don't see him connect. Or like when Alan gets beat up on the plane, you hear and he come, ooh, and it's just, I don't know, it's just so lazily made, and cheesy, I guess. I don't hate that film, but comparing that to this film where it's by far the most intense, by far the most action, by far the most adventure, by far everything is whatever you'd want in a Jurassic film. Maybe there could have been a little bit more talking about, should we not, but those were in the older films. This is the final film of the Jurassic era franchise, and you have to not bore the audience, and it was freaking awesome, man. I think a lot of people were bored by Fallen Kingdom. I'm not sure why, but apparently they were. This film is definitely, 0 to 10 in 10 seconds. I mean, this film freaking goes crazy. And it looks great, it's shot great, it's edited great. As far as, the acting is very good too. I think Maisie is funny. She looks a little older, she sounds a little older. So that was kind of funny. But, just seeing all these characters come back and, they all have good chemistry, really good funny scenes. Some of the humor doesn't necessarily land a lot. I think Ian is probably the funniest, as he's always kind of been. But, there's a few one-liners in there which I didn't really, I'd smile or I'd laugh, like, internally, but I wouldn't be like, like, I wouldn't laugh out loud like an actual comedy. So, some of the humor's a bit hit and miss, but that's kind of a small negative. As far as, I guess, I heard some criticism. I'm like, oh, it's just an action movie, it's point A to point B with action, and I guess it is an action film, by far the most action-packed of any of the movies, but it makes sense, like Jurassic Park, if you watch Jurassic Park 1, 2, 3, Jurassic World 1, 2, 3, in that order, the way you're supposed to, it makes sense as a one cohesive two-trilogy story. It does. Dodgson is back from the first film, played by a different actor. He's played by Spider-Man 2. The Amazing Spider-Man, Andrew Garfield, his dad. He's in there. I don't really know why they recast. I don't know if the guy died or if he's insane or what, but it's a different dude. You get past that, it's a big deal. I think he's an alright villain. He's not the most intimidating, but, he's it was kind of cool to see, like, a character from the first movie kind of come back. Again, that's not a spoiler. That's in trailers and interviews, but I won't get into more of it. But I do think that the element of these action scenes and just the plot moving forward, yeah, like there's dinosaurs in the real world now. Maisie's a effing clone. They're on the run. I don't know what people expected. I don't know if they wanted like a 2.5-hour movie about debate of like the prequel trilogy where they're just in that giant effing room and like these Beyblade looking things just talking about Trade Federation ships and whatever, banking clans. But if you did that, you would essentially make the movie extremely effing boring. There is a lot to this film where it's there, but it's not as prevalent as maybe even, the first movie where, Ellie and Professor Hammond or whatever, John Hammond, they're just sitting at a dinner table talking about ethics. That's a great scene in that movie, but to have the entire film be like that, it wouldn't make sense. You also get people saying, oh, there's no wonder, the wonder's gone. I don't know why people all of a sudden are claiming this word wonder. I get it. There is a sense of wonder and awe when you watch the first film, because, holy shit, dinosaurs are back, what the heck, that is a wondrous thing, but these films, if you just keep going with the etiquette and should we not, and the, oh my god, look at the wonder, it wouldn't, it would be a retread. It would be very boring to watch, and I would not like that. And I'm glad they touched upon both. There are scenes of wonder and awe for all you people in that film. And I love those scenes, but that's not what makes Jurassic Park or World what it is. It's an amalgamation of the wonder and the ethics and the action and the adventure and the characters and the plots and everything. So just to have one thing and not another would kind of, suffocate this film into a kind of strange gray area. And I did really enjoy the fact that they touched on everything, but, maybe they could have done a little bit more here or there, but those are very small nitpicks. Again, my only real issue is the humor. Some of it just didn't land for me. But, it's not a big deal. I think the CGI is great. Back when Jurassic Park first came out, there was a ton, basically zero CGI for the most part. Some of it was there, but it was more practical. And, people, of course, there's this big misconception that, practical is always better than the CGI. And then you get, CGI is always better than practical. Again, no, there should be a balance between practical and CGI, and they effing did it in this film. I could not, for the life of you, tell me, if you said franchise, where is the practical puppetry dinosaurs? I couldn't tell you, but they're there, because I watched through the entire credits, and it literally said puppeteer, so there were puppet dinosaurs in this film. A lot of it did look real, because the CGI is effing good, because we're in 2022, but a lot of it is, very much like, I can't really tell. CGI, though, is great. There's really no instances where it was like, this is not looking too good, As far as, like, an actual conclusion to a franchise, so to speak, you look at Endgame, you look at The Rise of Skywalker, you look at, I guess, Lord of the Rings: Return of the King, even though that came out first, that's the end of it, I don't know, Dark Knight trilogy, all these crazy, Pirates of the Caribbean, all these crazy epic franchises that, the final one is there. This did disappoint me a bit in terms of a final battle. Endgame had that big awesome fight, and Rise of Skywalker had the Battle of Exegol. This is just kind of, there's X happening and Y is happening, and then something Z happens, and then it's over. There's a lot of intensity in the film, though, so it really doesn't make me that mad. Again, I don't really review films on what I wanted. I review them on what we got, because that's how you should review a film. So I do think that, was I a bit disappointed by the end battle, which I won't say what it is, a little bit. Specifically when Jurassic World 1 and 2 were better in terms of epic finales, but the whole film is intense and action-packed and adventurous. It's not like, we're just doing the final half hour is crazy. No, like, the whole film is that, Even the scenes where, like, just they're talking, or, it cuts between that scene where they're all in the plane and the one Pteranodon or whatever, that's not what it is. It's not a Pteranodon, but that's what I'm calling it. Freaking swoops in, it's in the trailer, and Kayla, the new character, she's like, but it's not a dinosaur, it's not another plane. That's engaging, but also then, to switch from that scene to, like, Alan and Ellie just kind of doing their own plot with the whole locust thing, it's engaging as well. And then they, finally both plots kind of converge onto each other. And I think it's a very, very good plot structure. I don't understand the critics. They're freaking nuts. I swear to God, they were watching a different film. Again, it's all opinion-based, but I truly think, again, I love Jurassic Park 1. I love it. I really enjoy The Lost World. I stomach Jurassic Park 3. I'll watch it. I don't hate it. I own it on Blu-ray. It's just my least favorite. Jurassic World is great. Fallen Kingdom used to be my favorite, and now I truly think that Dominion is the best one. I know it's kind of like, you should be shot or crucified, because, I swear to God, if you say anything is better than Jurassic Park 1 on the internet, you get called a million effing names. And I love the first one. Trust me. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying that I think that, of course, the effects are better, the acting is better. Again, I'm not saying I hate it, so don't twist my words, but I do truly love all of them. Even Jurassic Park 3. I have problems with it, but I don't hate it. And I do think that, honestly, Dominion is probably the best one. The way it was ending was great. There's a few things that happened in the end that made me tear up. I didn't cry, but, just to see that all these plot points are finally converging. It truly is like an Endgame, Rise of Skywalker, Harry Potter, Deathly Hallows Part 2 type of thing. It's a conclusion of the Jurassic era, and I think they did a really effing good job of doing it. Again, as far as negatives, comedy, maybe I'm a little bit disappointed by the end battle, but I'm not counting that because that's not really it's not like, the CGI was really bad, or there was a dinosaur clipped through the wall. It's not like an actual, like, objective problem where it's like, CGI was bad or something. Anyone can notice the CGI. I was just a little bit disappointed by the ending, but I don't hate it. But again, I'm not going to count that in the final score. So I'm going to give Jurassic World Dominion an A. I probably sound like a broken record giving all these movies A's and A's and A's, but if something's good, I'm going to tell you if it's good. If something's bad, I'm going to tell you it's bad. I'm not biased. I just like good quality products and good quality things. And this movie's a good quality product movie thing, I'll tell you that much. Again, a few negatives here or there, which I already covered, but they're not game-breaking if you were a little bit hesitant. Because there's a lot of people online saying, oh, the Jurassic franchise should just die. Just kill it. It should be extinct. Oh, they all suck. I don't know if you're a real fan then, you know what I mean? Like, you have to, you know, like, I don't love Jurassic Park 3, but I'm not going to sit here and bitch online going, this movie's not canon, or it sucked. You know what I mean? It's like, just grow a pair and just live your, you know what I mean? Just stop. So I don't know. I don't get it. A lot of people online are just claiming that this is the end. Well, guess what, losers? It's the end. So I hope you guys freaking enjoyed it. Bunch of turds. Anyway, I do think that this film is very good. If you have any opinion on it, make sure to tell me in the comments below without spoiling the film. And again, I truly do love this franchise. I hope TT Games can make a Lego Jurassic World 2 without the goddamn sky flickering, because that's still not fixed in Lego, as what I say, Lego Star Wars, the Sky Flicker Saga, because I swear to Christ, it's been over 2 months, and they still didn't patch the sky flicker. It's like a disco in the air. Anyway, that's a whole nother story. But, you know, I cannot wait. I cannot wait to see if they ever make another Lego Jurassic World game, because, you know, the first one, what you're seeing, only covered the first, you know, 4 films out of 6. Who knows? But I can't wait to get this on Blu-ray. I want to see it again in theaters very, very badly. It was such a great and entertaining film. I was never bored by any of the other movies before, but this one was truly adventurous and action-packed and just engaging the whole way through. And I think that there was a lot of really cool moments. Maybe the villain wasn't the best. Maybe the battle wasn't the most climactic in the very, very end. But the whole film makes up for it. And I think having the old characters return with the new characters, they meshed it really well. The ending was really great. And again, I'm not going to spoil it here for you, but please go make sure to go see Jurassic World Dominion in theaters. I enjoyed it, and it's by far my favorite one so far. And again, that's me coming from a dude who pretty much loves them all. I cannot wait to see it again, get it on Blu-ray, and, you know, just enjoy this franchise. Because, man, it's over. You know, think about that. The Jurassic era is now over. That joins the Infinity Saga and the Skywalker Saga, and presumably the Snyderverse, and, you know, all these other Middle-earth movies. You know, it's kind of sad that all these Harry Potter, all these things that we loved, you know, they're kind of over, but I do think this was a very good conclusion to the Jurassic era, and I cannot wait to see what the future brings. I know there's the Camp Cretaceous show on Netflix. I don't have that, so I don't know if I don't know how to watch that. Maybe there's DVDs, but I heard it's good. You know, I'm assuming, you know, people go, oh, it's a kid show. It looks like an animated show for all ages. It doesn't look really kiddie because it's canon to the films, and these films are not for children at all, especially this one. It's very brutal at times, so, you know, don't take a little kid to this for sure. But I do think that, you know, I really want more of this franchise, and Camp Cretaceous looks cool, so maybe I'll check that out. If you have seen that show, again, without spoiling anything, tell me if Camp Cretaceous is good, and if you enjoyed Jurassic World Dominion. Hopefully you enjoyed the LEGO Jurassic World gameplay. I cannot wait to do more video game content. You know, I'm doing my LEGO Star Wars, the Sky Flicker Saga, and a bunch of other awesome stuff as well. My channel's not going anywhere. I know I have a new computer, as you know. It's here, so, you know, content is brewing. So yeah, it should be a lot of fun for the future of the channel. Hope you guys enjoyed. Maybe I'll even do a Jurassic tribute. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll think about it. Thank you guys, and we'll see you in the next video.